Vince Russo ruffled a lot of feathers in WCW, and today, whenever you're watching this bad boy, he's ruffled a few more. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, and of course, he had to go and defend himself against Ric Flair. That got squashed, but it turns out now, here, today, he was talking about WCW and how the company had pretty much 80% worse characters than him. It's an almighty claim. But what do we think about the claim? Do we think it's bogus? Do we think it's lies? What do we think it is? I'll tell you what it is. I actually think he's right. He's not claiming, right, that he's a better wrestler. He said better character, alright? Better character. Because, of course, he's not a better wrestler. But in terms of the character, you know, Russo had a lot of character. Gregory Helms has responded. We're going to get into the quotes and the nooks and crannies and all that stuff, but you know, it would be like Vince McMahon saying he had a better character than 80% of the, you know, the WWE roster. Vince McMahon is one of the greatest wrestling characters of all time. You know, you don't have to step foot in the squared circle all that often to be known as one of the greatest characters, and that's the miracle of the entertainment business at the end of the day. Alright, and I think people need to realise that. So, let's go into it. So this was during the third episode of Who Killed WCW. Former writer Vince Russo said the following regards becoming a television character. I'm going to be 1000% completely honest with you. As far as an on-air character, I felt I was better than 80% of the roster. I made the mistake of saying, you know what, fuck it, if you want ratings, I will go out there and get ratings myself. I almost got killed, bro. I almost got killed. Now that quote is courtesy of WrestlingInc.com. Russo is a draw though. Let's not pretend that Russo ain't. Like there's a reason why Russo, you know, there's news articles about the guy like every week, people responding, because the guy's a fucking draw. See, in like 20 years time, is anyone going to be making news articles about the current people that are writers in WWE and AEW today? Of course they're not. You know, that's just it. And I'm not talking about like Triple H or Tony Khan or Shawn Michaels, because they obviously will always get talked about, especially Degeneration X. Break it down. But anyway, former WCW star Shane Helms addressed Russo's comments and said this. 3 laughing emojis. Horse shit. Russo responded. And I hope you're doing well too, Shane. Helms said, I can dig the bravado, but we're all our own biggest fans. But come on now. Russo says, I'll let the heat I got speak for itself. Helms said, heat that doesn't translate to revenue doesn't do a lot for me. Russo said, yeah, much like 50-50 booking doesn't do much for anybody. Helms said, depends on the situation. A lot of rivalries build by exchanging wins. Russo said, and a lot of revenue is generated by heat. I agree with Russo. See this 50-50 booking we get these days? It's fucking garbage. Like, more often than not, wrestling was good when you had 2 guys battling for a title who won all their matches into the pay-per-view. I'm sick of this fucking gimmick where, or if they were protected in losses. Today people don't even get really protected in losses. Shane Helms is trying to defend WCW, right? And obviously he probably feels that he's a part of the 80% that Russo's on about. I like the Hurricane, but as for Shane Helms in WCW, he wasn't all that good. I mean, as a character, of course, he's a good wrestler. I'm never going to take that away from the guy, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the guy's the man. Like, one of the greatest fucking characters to ever do it is Shane Helms. He's not. And his wrestling ability doesn't really outweigh the boredom of his character when he was just Shane Helms. Now, when he was the Hurricane and after, when he was just Gregory Helms, I always enjoyed him. But I feel like WCW, he wasn't really up to much. If I'm being truthful about it. Guy didn't really get to flourish until it was the invasion angle and they started doing the Hurricane stuff, and that's where he really came to fruition, like when he's doing stuff with The Rock and 03. Good. Very, very, very good. But I'm actually going to side with Russo. Not everyone has to side with Russo. Now, someone said, Russo was such a great character that every time he appeared in the ring, I switched to Raw. Dude is a legend in his own mind. Lol. Some people might have switched to Raw because of that go home heat, but some people like that heat. Some people get too close to the fire and they end up getting burnt. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That is it here for Fog Wrestling. Be back soon with more content and all that good stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. Getting stuck into all the crazy stuff. Absolutely. I tell you what, that referee in that Denmark-England game's a fucking joke. I know this is fog football, but how the fuck did he not get a free kick there for Denmark? Denmark. Denmark have been shafted.